Coach Moseley, Virginia Tech has beaten William and Mary only one time since 1938. That was last year at Williamsburg, 14-7. How do you feel about the game tomorrow here at Blacksburg?
Well, Ed, I kind of expect the game to be somewhat like the one down at Williamsburg last year. That game is always a very hard-fought game. William and Mary seems to prepare for us very well and seem to get their boys awful anxious to play against us.
Well, Coach, so far this year, your team has won 3 games, has lost 1 game to Lane, and in so doing, you've rolled up over 1,100 yards rushing, over 300 yards passing, and you've scored 16 touchdowns. How about telling us a little bit about some of those unsung heroes in the line that have opened the holes for your backs?
I'm glad you asked that, Ed. I think possibly our line play this year has been largely responsible for what success we've had. Not discounting the fact that our backs have run awful hard. They've taken advantage of the good opportunities that the line has given them. The boys in that line who've done such a magnificent job, our 2 centers, Hall and Olson, our guards, Smith, Carpenter, and Cruikshank, Webster, Belcher, our tackles, Daly and Moon, Uselak, Dalzell. All of those boys have done a wonderful job for us, and both offensively and defensively in the line.
Well, getting back to the game tomorrow against William and Mary, what kind of physical shape is your team in?
I think possibly we're in as good physical condition as we've been in all year. We didn't work too hard, that is from a contact standpoint this week. We had a lot of bumps and bruises from the last 2 previous hard games, and we feel like that our boys are in good shape.
Well, Coach Moseley, how do you compare this fine team of this year with the undefeated 1954 team you had, but that team was tied by William and Mary?
Ed, there are some rather remarkable comparisons that could be made. We feel like that the 54 team had a whole lot more experience than the youngsters that we have today. But I believe that the spirit and the determination that this team has possibly carried them a little farther than the 54 team in a lot of respects. Just for instance, take our left end position, which as it has been since the East Carolina game when Ed Brinkley was injured. We've only had 2 boys at that position that were able to play, one of them being a freshman and the other a 3rd-string center. Carroll Dale, our freshman is, we think, one of the finest prospects we've ever had. Nick Mihalis, who had been an end as a freshman, was converted to a center at the beginning of the fall, and he's been our 2nd and only substitute at the left end position.
Well, Coach, talking about this game tomorrow, do you think that it'll be a high-scoring game, or do you think it'll be more of a grind-em-out, low-scoring contest?
Well, it has been in the past a kind of a grind-em-out, low-scoring contest, although we have scored quite a few points between the 2 teams in the past several years. I would like to see a high-scoring contest if we can get on the big end of it.
Well, it's a homecoming game for VPI, and how about the attendance? How many fans do you expect?
We're expecting a very fine homecoming crowd. If this weather continues, which all the predictions are that it will continue, we should have a very fine crowd, although we have plenty of room for everyone that would like to come, and we'd like to see a big crowd for this fine homecoming.